Hey there, good morning. I'm John. Today is Tuesday, March 28th, I think, 2023. This is my daily vlog where I am documenting my progress of trying to take content creation from hobby to job after I lost my job some months ago. So this week is shaping up to be weird. Let's start with an update from yesterday. So yesterday, once I got started and got the vlog done and got in the process, I jumped right into completion of that long form video that we talked about. This was kind of an update. It was actually kind of the ultimate update from a 2 years ago review that I did for a gadget that was well reviewed, but then we found some flaws shortly thereafter. And I had done a few follow-ups, I would say maybe 6 months or so after the release of that toy, but then it just kind of fell silent. And I happened to get my hands on a revision of that toy and was able to do like a comparison between one and the other, take it apart, look at the electronics, see what changed. And it's kind of really putting a button on a story that started a couple of years ago. And it's amazing to think back when that first review posted, how slowly it got views. And this one I dropped, I want to say 3:30 or 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. And it's already up over 1,300 views or so, which it's weird how quickly that sounds like not a lot. When there was, it's not all that long ago that a video would sit for a week and not get 1,000 views, and now it's a few hours later and it gets 1,000 views. I guess it's because now there's that new taste of what could be. We had that great success from like 3 weeks ago or so, and but I have to think about realistically that took 3 or 4 days to start blowing up, right? And by the way, that one is still doing well. Not as great as yesterday, but it's still cranking out views for us and subscribers and comments and engagement, which is all wonderful. But I got that video out, of course, and it did very well. I had to do some prep work for the podcast editing today, which we'll talk about in a second, which I did that yesterday as well. I mean, I always prepare like the breaks and lay out the format, but it's like an hour 15 recording. Is very long, so I got a little progress on it. I did some editing. So let's, all that brings us up to today. Today and tomorrow are kind of podcast days, I guess. So today is podcast editing over on Twitch. Every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern, we do a live edit of the podcast. And it's both me getting work done and it's a social hangout. Lately, we've been having, from 8 to a dozen or so people any given time, and just hanging out there and talking and, shooting the crap and cutting up. And I'm making fun of myself and George and Bo during the edit, and they're all kind of chiming in. And it's just a general kind of a social club kind of thing we've been doing. If you want to join us today at 10 a.m., you're more than welcome to. As I've been asked, and I like to remind you that if you have Amazon Prime and you have not yet delegated your free subscription to a Twitch creator, it's very easy to do. You just pop over there, you click on a couple of buttons, and you take what is effectively a free benefit you have, and you can contribute that for 1 month. I mention it here each week because it expires every month. You've got to reapply it. So if you did that already and it's time to renew it, I'll pop over there if you can. If you haven't, if you have Amazon Prime, please consider using that unused free benefit subscription for us. It's effectively like a free $5 donation for the month, and it doesn't cost you a thing, and it benefits us greatly. So if you would do that, and I hope you can find time to hang out for the live edit too. Then, after that, which is going to take the bulk of the morning, so then after lunch, I really need to start preparing. So let me tell you, tomorrow, this vlog may be late because tomorrow night, due to a confluence of scheduling adjustments, I will be sitting in my chair at the desk in front of the camera podcasting tomorrow night for about 4.5 hours. Yeah, I have 2 live shows to record early because we can't record Friday. And then as soon as that's over, give or take, I'm a guest on a YouTube channel called Go Game Go, where they've invited me to be part of their kind of live YouTube podcast. So I'll be participating in that. I'm not complaining. I'm happy for all the exposure. It's just it all piled up on one day. So I might not get up crack of dawn tomorrow like I usually do. I think I'll turn the alarms off, wake up when my body wakes me up, then come in and do the vlog, whatever, in the morning. just because like I know I'm going to have to be on and awake and energetic late in the day tomorrow, so I don't want to front load it with stuff, and my eyes get tired, my contacts may get sore, and all. Anyway, the plan is to take it easy getting started tomorrow, so you might see me a little bit later tomorrow, because today is all about setting up. I've got to do markup for the pods tomorrow. I've got to write some teases. I've got to write some content. I've got to load it with information. I got to do some research. It's all about a topic that I sprinkled out there on social, so I've got to scrub social and pull in all these comments and add them to our plan. It's quite busy, and it stepped up by 2 days. It was supposed to be Friday. Well, now it's tomorrow, so this afternoon I'm sure will be a lot of work and research prepping for the avalanche of stuff tomorrow. So that means that probably it's going to be a dearth of long-form videos until at least Thursday or Friday. Unless a news item comes out, I can come in and knock one out in a couple of hours. I've got to, you can't do everything at once. You need to focus your attention on what's directly in front of you sometimes, or it'll pass you by, it'll catch up. And so I'm glad I got a video out yesterday, so we can ride on that for a couple of days while I focus on podcast content. How much time do we have? I'm looking at my watch that doesn't exist. It's where my watch normally is. I'm just trying to think about, I was thinking about the podcast in general and how, we had a little discussion about the value of our podcast, because in and of itself does not directly bring us a great amount of revenue, and we put a disproportionate amount of time into it in terms of effort. However, in the discussion, it has what I'll call collateral revenue, right? So the volume of listenership and the ad revenue we make off the podcast does not justify its existence. However, it is actually the way in which we are most tightly and regularly interface with and get to know our core audience. And that core audience supports us generously over on Patreon. So that is to say that at some point when you're doing this, you have to pragmatically evaluate the things that you do as passion projects and decide whether or not they actually make sense financially, or if they make sense and do not divert your attention too much from what you need to do financially. So while the podcast takes a lot of our time, typically about maybe 2 days out of my week I spend focusing on podcasts. But in reality, that's a large portion of our revenue. If you look at it in terms of the people we engage with there are that core audience that support us financially. So I really look at it less as an advertising opportunity and more of a community building endeavor that has proven itself over the years. So that's why I continue to dump so much time and effort into it. Despite it hasn't, we're not NPR, we haven't blown the wheels off of anything, but it does its job, so. Anyway, a little tangent I was thinking about, I thought I would share with you that I thought about the other day. Many of you don't listen to the podcast at all, which is fine, but you hear me talk about it a lot, and you may wonder, why is he dumping all this time into that when there's all this stuff he wants to do? Well, that's why. Because we've evaluated its value, and it actually does have value that is comparable to the time invested. So, yeah, that's that. All right, time to get busy. I've got to get in there and get ready for a live stream. I hope you can join me over there if you have time. Thank you so much for stopping in for today's vlog. If you did, if you're here every day, love you for that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Have a great Tuesday. Do something good for yourself today if you can, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow, but not too early. Bye-bye.